Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Yeah. Well, we have Azim Dewji with us, originally from Dar es Salaam, and he is here along with his aspiring vice chairman for the campaign of the chairmanship for Africa Federation for the period of 2022 to 2025. We are grateful as a small Jamaat, as a new Jamaat in the Federation, that nominees have decided to visit us, take our views, share their ideas, share their vision. We have concerns which inshallah I hope we can engage after the presentation. And inshallah, we can only wish for all the aspiring nominees, especially Azim Bhai who is here today, and Shiraz Bhai, that with their interest to serve the community and their interest to bring, if I can say, development in the community, not a change, because change is not always the motive. At times, alhamdulillah, we are blessed where we have reached, but there is always interest to develop further. And we are proud being part of Africa Federation, where we believe the different Jamaats can put in their strengths with good visionary leadership so that we can see a change and a difference happening in the long term for all the communities. So with this, I take the opportunity to invite Azim Bhai so he can express his manifesto, his vision, and inshallah we can then engage with him. Any concerns that we have, anything we believe, we feel for our Jamaat or for the Federation at large, we could possibly either give advice also, I believe, or share concerns, inshallah. Jazakallah, most welcome. Can we recite a salat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
My elders, my brothers, Assalamu alaikum. When I'm told there are three languages here, either English, Gujarati, or Hindi. So I hope if the person who told in English, who doesn't understand, obviously you can ask me, then I'll explain in Hindi or in Gujarati. So first of all, let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha for one. So I would like to start by thanking our brother Ali to facilitate, not only to facilitate, but he also is taking good care of us. He sent a car to come and pick us, he booked a hotel for us, so we are really thankful. So as rightfully said, that probably changes is one thing and developing is another. So for Rwanda, I will talk a little bit that Rwanda is a new market. So how do we take advantage of a new market? So that I would like to ask that we want the biggest, I've been saying that the biggest power is not money. The biggest power is to teach somebody to do business or to guide somebody to do business. Because if you give Sakawa, you will help him, end of the month he will come again. But if you teach him how to do business, or what kind of business, then inshallah he will never come back again. And he will be able to help and contribute towards the Jamaat. So I was thinking this afternoon when I was free, I said this is a new Jamaat. I said this in Nairobi, that inshallah if Allah wills, and we take the chair, then we'll be having a 3-month Zoom meeting with all the Jamaats, so that we come and know the challenges or the problems which are facing a certain Jamaat. So every Jamaat in Africa should know what are the prospects of Rwanda, what are the prospects of Burundi, or what are the challenges of other Jamaats. But then I was thinking this afternoon that it is our duty to help each and every nominee of ours. So we might see if it fits into our program, then we might ask to have a Zoom meeting with the members in the Islam with your business. Then they can ask you questions if you come, how much money do we need to start a business, what line of business is lacking here. So this way we can give others opportunity, or people from Kenya can come and establish a business or open a branch. So inshallah, by doing that, we will give opportunities to other young members to come and do a venture, and that will also help that your community will also grow. So I'm sure that you want to have 200-300 members community.
Sure.
So this is the only way that we can, because I find there is no connection between the Jamaat. So this is the way we can bring changes, and we can see how members can benefit from it. But before I continue, we also believe in unity. Unity is a strength for everyone. So you may be aware that there were 3 aspirants from Islam, and then we decided that me and K.S.I.J, we work together and help each other so that we can deliver. Both of us were experienced. K.S.I.J has been serving the Islam Jamaat for 4 years as the president, and in the last 2 years I was the vice president, and then I served the Islam Jamaat for 6 years, and we finished in 2020. One of the reasons people ask, because I never replied, but I think today I can reply, that why did I stand in the last minute? I want to assure you that this position is a very, it's a noble position, it's a position with full responsibility, and sometimes you don't buy it or not. You are having capacity, but sometimes you're afraid because you have to do it. It is not that becoming the president is a fame or what. For me, that is not a thing. It's a responsibility, and I have to make sure that what work I'm supposed to do, I have to do it 100%. It's not that I just become a president and I just sit. So I just wanted to tell you that unity is strength. That is why we show that we can work together, and one he dropped down and we don't. So I also want to emphasize on the youth. There may be few youths here, but I've been saying that we should try and encourage youth to study in local universities. Hopefully there is no, there may be 1 or 2 universities in Rwanda, but there are many universities in Kenya, there are universities in Islam, and alhamdulillah, our young boys, we have 120 medical graduates from the university. Out of it, we have 60 doctors, the rest from the radiographer. So these courses are available, but the cost per year is $2,000. In Kenya also it is $2,000. So what we are planning, that we might be giving a grant of $2,000. So in 4 years, it will be done and it doesn't have debt. At the moment, what is happening, that African Federation is giving $8,000 or $8,000 is not enough, then the father has to move for the balance. So roughly average of $20,000 to $25,000 a course for educating one child. So by the time he finishes, he has a debt of $100,000. And if he has to pay, and if he's paying $500 per month, then it will take him 15 years to repay the loan. His prime age, from the age of 24 up to 40, is going in between. He wants to marry, he will have children, so the expenses keep on going up. But once they study locally, because locally education is not very high. Some of you may be knowing it, they're the best eye specialist, or one of the best in Tanzania. He is our brother, Dr. K.S.I.J. He's studying in Moshi, KSIJ, and because the education is good, he's practicing private, but he's also working with Azim Hospital. So it is on us to see how we can encourage our children. We are born specialists in Islam, working with K.S.I.J. He is also a graduate of KIGALI, and he is very good. But I was also told in Mombasa that they opened a new clinic, and the doctor in charge was a graduate from There are two dentists taking dentistry in Nairobi, in Kenya University. So some people might say that no, we don't give them a grant. Fine, you can see, you can work out. Even if you don't give them a grant, but the debt will be 8,000. And if we spread, then he might be paying only $100 per month. Okay? So $1,200 times 8 years is $8,000. So he can sustain paying the $100. But we will sit, inshallah, if we be in the chair and see how can we help these youth of ours, because that, as you know, businessmen may be knowing it, that sometimes brings even depression. Because we are dead, you don't have a means to pay, you want to pay, and then you start having depression. So we don't want our youth. They are clever, they are good, so they should be what? Having a debt. And I gave also an example, if they are paying 500, so in 5 years, they will have paid 30,000. So if they are not paying, in 5 years they will have a capital of $30,000. But they will be able to save that money. And if they want to open their own clinic, so they have at least 50-60% of the money of theirs, and the rest they can come to the Jamaat or they can come to the propagation, and we can help them so that they can run their own clinic. Obviously, running your own clinic pays more than working for someone. So this is how we want our youth, and we want to encourage the youth to get education, as much education as possible. One of the ways of removing poverty in our community is to educate our children. The one who is educated, obviously, will get 3 times more salary than the one who is not educated. The only way how to remove poverty is to insist on making education. So as I said earlier, that it will be very good whether God has written for me to come or not, but then I leave it to you, Mr. President, that you can arrange with whoever is, that we can have a Zoom meeting with Nairobi youngsters, next time Mombasa, and or we can have all join so that people know what is happening here and what are the prospects of business. So my personal intention is to see our community becoming wealthy and strong. So this can only happen when we help each other. I want to update. I know your madrasa maybe small, but it is very, very important to have a good Islamic foundation. Without foundation, there is no right. Because when our children grow up, they want to go and study abroad. Abroad, there are a lot of challenges. But if he had a good madrasa foundation, then it becomes difficult for him to deviate and go into shaitanic works because he has a good foundation of religion. But at the same time, I've been visiting Rwanda since for the last 30, 40 years. But I am happy to see that now we have a community. When I was coming here, there was nobody. But last time when I came here, I also saw there is Bilal section. I don't know whether it is under you or the no. So we want to see how can we help them. Because our religion is not ours. There is no copyright that only we should be having here. It is open and it is our duty. If not duty, it is also wajib that we should see how we can propagate the religion of the Prophet as far as we can. And you are also neighboring Rwanda, which is a rich, neighboring Congo, which is a rich country. So we can also help establish this thing in Bukavu and in Goma, so we can spread the religion. So it is our duty that children born in our house, they automatically Shias. So it's not a big challenge, but it's a challenge for them. That if we don't try hard to spread the religion, it will be not going further. So we will also emphasize, though they are doing, we have to check that we support them. But when I came, I saw some Arab who had come and people were sitting with him in the hotel. So I did salam to them and they told me that we are also doing it. But we want to see, they may be doing it, there is no monopoly, we can also do it. So these are the things which we can see how we can help our community members. Health-wise, it's a very small Jamaat. We have a health clinic, but we can have a health clinic not because of us. We can have a health clinic to help others who cannot afford to go. I don't know what are the charges here, but clinic or hospital is not for treatment only. Clinic and hospital can also be a very big thing for propagation of our religion. If they know which hospital they went to, they went to Shia. So this way, people will come also to know who are Shia. And we are supposed to propagate by action, not by mouth, word of mouth. Because the Holy Prophet for 40 years, he did not propagate Islam. But those people, after looking at his actions, they started following. They started naming him Al-Sadi, Al-Amin. So what does it tell us? That we also have to practically be Al-Sadi and Al-Amin. But unfortunately, we sometimes deviate and we forget about the teachings. So we have to emphasize, and the parents should also emphasize the children that to become a good Muslim, we have to be Al-Sadi, which we are always supposed to talk the truth. We have to be Al-Amin, we always have to get halal earnings. Then only when you teach somebody from childhood, then it instills. It engraves in his head that no, I'm not supposed to steal, I'm not supposed to speak aloud. So I said I will pause for a moment. You can ask me questions, and it might also help me to explain some points which I have not touched. So if anyone of you wants to ask me.
There have been, we had one nominee here a few days back. He also did discuss about the health. And maybe I've heard that there's some discussion about health insurance, which even could possibly be offered by African Federation with some of the nominees. I believe it is a very poor area that can be considered. Challenges are many. In Rwanda, just for an example sake, just putting it on the record, is we have a local mutuelle, is that right? Mutuelle, something like that. So the president of Rwanda, he introduced the insurance, which is a very minimal insurance. If my understanding is correct, the contribution is 3,000 per year, 3,100 franc. 3,100 franc is approximately less than $3 today, because now we have crossed the 1,000 exchange. So less than $3, the local Rwandese are covered in government hospitals to a reasonable extent. I will not say to all the way. It is a start. Now what happens is at times some sponsors, some communities, they come forward and engage with the local community or with the local sector head. And we come to realize that in that sector or in that village, there are possibly 100 or 200 local people. They cannot afford even that insurance. Now it is very easy for a community, for an individual to take over the burden or whatever and contribute that 3,000 times 100. So he has actually supported them not by giving cash handouts or for some, but covered them for a whole year with health insurance. So I'm just trying to give an example that something possibly the community may consider on a large scale to offer a minimal health cover. At times expectations are very high and we never end up starting off. But if we have even minimal expectations, then on different Jamaat levels or on federation level, we can possibly see where members are falling short, support them partly, support them all the way. So just a proposal for consideration only.
Okay, thank you very much. Last night when I was talking to Nairobi Jamaat, the same question came up, that how can we see? So we said that Kenya is a big advance in insurance and banking. So we said, inshallah, if coming, but I'm saying again, not necessarily that they come. Whoever comes,
Sure.
we see that we go to an insurance company or broker, we tell them, we are not only taking the Islamic members, we are taking members from East Africa. So instead of having 8,000, now we are talking 20,000. So obviously the rate will go down. Okay? And people can probably pay 50% and 50% can be borne by. Because medical also, after operation, even at the moment, they cover whoever goes to India or wherever. But it is our responsibility to see that everybody gets education and everybody gets treatment. So if we do it that way, it is very good. So the second part, which was the first part of yours, that insurance to pay through the government is only $3. So if you can help covering 1,000, it is only $3,000. And that is also a very big zakah, which people can earn a lot of sawab. So it is not necessary that people in East Africa, there may be people in Europe, they don't have a place to give charity. So we can tell them, okay, we give charity, we don't want you to give food, we want you to cover it. So inshallah, when we do it, and you can also, if we can at 30,000, we are talking of 10,000. So when you are doing 10,000, you can also put a big banner, whether it is through one federation or one day, or whoever, Nasimco, or whoever. Then this message will start doing public by itself. People are asking, what is people will cover 10,000 locals, giving them free insurance. So people start to know, these are shares. So this way we can propagate at a very minimum amount of money. So propagation is not necessarily telling people to come to malls and to come here. Once, as I said earlier, that when we do practical examples, then people start getting attracted. These people are, their leader is somebody whom we should know. So it's not the leader that is the leader of African Federation, the World Federation. Our leader is Imam Ali, and at the moment, Imam Zaman. So we have to show that then they'll come to know that who is our leader. This way, this is the best practice. So thank you very much for that suggestion. But as I said, we will also talk to people in the World Federation. We can start easy. So this is the reason why I said we can have meetings every 3 months. So something similar would be in Burundi also, or in another country. So this way we can get ideas and we can see how we can help.
Sure.
Anybody else? उर्दू में भी मैं बोलूँगा कुछ और किसी को पूछना है जी
Concerned about the religious guidance of the community. Recent times we've had people come in and out, and some Jamaats have good resident alims. And some Jamaats, they bring in the best speaker and then they go away. So it's kind of like a parachute, he comes and then he's gone. And he doesn't really meet the issues of the community. Unfortunately now it's a global, community. So anyone can go on any YouTube clip and get what they want and they're done. But as you know, the meeting on Thursday nights and the programs we have, that is where the actual learning happens. Otherwise everybody will become a professor because there's so much on YouTube and etc. I think at the federation level, if the Tabligh team for internal now, Tabligh, external also we need a lot, and alhamdulillah, Ali Bhai and others have worked for Masajid here. There's good work going on and we can do a lot more, definitely. That's there. But internally, you see, because I've been in the Madaris system in Canada as well, and here in East Africa, if we have good resident alims, maybe even a pool of resident alims who can, be in our smaller communities in Africa. When I say good resident alims, I'm talking about someone who can talk to the youth as well as the adults. We don't want to say, okay, this is a youth alim and this is for the old people. And I think today, someone in this community, for example, all our lecturers are in Urdu. With a small community, everybody knows Urdu or Hindi, however you want to call it. But as you saw in Dar, now we have parallel majalis. I just think that for smaller communities, if we have good, well-trained ulama that have been vetted meaning you can't just bring any name. It has to be a standard. Maybe like a Sheikh Al-Adina or someone who is looking into, this is our list, you guys can have this person. As you know, there have been a lot of fitna and fasad happening with and you've mentioned it, wilayat and tawassul. And alhamdulillah, with the smaller jamaats, we don't have such a big issue. But definitely, I think it should not be left to the jamaats themselves. Whatever alim you can find is your business. No, if we can coordinate this at the Africa Federation level, I think it's important. Especially, I've seen Afed do these clips, and I think they're addressing some of these issues. But inshallah, we need that, especially now that you have jamaats everywhere. Goma, small place has a jamaat. In Burundi, everywhere there's jamaats popping up, and leadership is important. And if you have, unfortunately, the wrong person, then the community can be misguided as well, right? So there's a threat there. Anyways, that's a suggestion for you.
So thank you very much for advising and seeing the challenges. I was just thinking that bringing a Morana, a very good Morana, he comes there and he goes after 12 days. It is as good as we fast. हम रोजे रखते हैं रमजान महीने में जब हम पूरे मुसलमान होते हैं और चांद चला गया और हमारा मुसलमान भी चला गया। ऐसे ही जैसे मौलाना आता है वो अच्छी तकरीर करता है, बस 12 दिन होए या 15 दिन रमजान का होए, उसके बाद हम जैसे होते हैं ऐसे। तो very important that we should have a resident alim with whom we every time sit and discuss, and he always likes us. So thank you very much that we should be having good Maulanas. But it's not that I'm saying because I'm saying. Yesterday I was sitting in Nairobi, there's a member from Burundi Jamaat. So we were talking, he said we want help, that we want you to pay for, African Federation is paying $1,000 for the Maulana. So actually it's $500 for Maulana and $500 for Maulana's children's mother. So it comes to $1,000, because both of them are. So I asked him that we employ an accountant for $3,000. But when it comes to religious, where is going to guide us, whether we are going on the right path or the wrong path, you want to pay $500. So it is as good as saying that you buy vegetables in the morning, and you come back in the evening, you say, you ask your madam that I want chicken. But you left money for vegetables, how do you expect to get chicken in the evening? So the same way, if हम अच्छी समीक्षा देते हैं तो हमको अच्छा आदमी है, लेकिन हम नहीं करते हैं, क्या एम्फेसिस नहीं करते हैं, बस वो $1,000 को कर लिया है, ऐसी बात नहीं है, अच्छी चीज़ के लिए अच्छा दाम है. So you are very right. Then we will also ask that there are certain guidelines for anybody who qualify to be brought in Africa, and we can see that, how can we deliver. So thank you very much again. But that's the beauty of our community. When we ask, when we bring in, then it also gives us a chance to understand and work on it. Ji.
You spoke a little bit about getting people to attend local universities, whether it be in Nairobi or in Dar es Salaam or wherever it is. But there's no reason for them to right now. Yes, the fees are cheaper, but still they're going to Canada, they're still going to the US, to the UK to study. What can we do, or what are your plans to do to encourage people to stay in Africa and do their school here versus going abroad and doing it there?
You see, thank you. If the facilities are available, we don't have to invest, because running a university is a big expense. When we send our children to America, every 6 months they send an email, we want some donation, and they charge $50,000 per student per year, and yet they ask for donation. So running a university is not a very easy thing. So when these things are available, then we should try and use those facilities. And many students, so I'm saying that we will try and encourage them to study here. But whoever decides that he wants to go abroad, the $8,000 will continue, it might go to $10,000. But we don't want our children to be in debt. They are coming back and they are having a debt. And you can always see whenever there's a meeting, they say, oh, there is $1 million outstanding debt from the students. We don't want to hear that. And a child also feels ashamed. Then we also demoralizing him. So we can see how we can come out of it. But other students go to UK and Canada because they think there's greener pasture there. That is why if you go there, they can study. Let me assure you, the world is changing. Africa is going to be a different place, and Africa is going to be very prosperous. We should be always thinking that here is our future. We should never think that this is not our future. This is going to be our future, and it's going to be a better future. Those who came here before, when he came here before 13 years, when I came here before 30 years, Rwanda was, KIGALI was such a small town. Today, it is big. There was only one road. When you come from the airport, there's the road going to Tanzania. You come up, roundabout, that's it. That was Rwanda. Today, in every corner, I can see good roads here. So it is development. And every development needs manpower. If every development needs things that when the development, people want to buy tube lights, they want to by fan, they will buy air conditioning, they will buy fridges. So these are the opportunities where we come in. Okay? And there may be, when they are, they need civil engineers, they need accountants, so we can see if they come there, they may be getting a good employment. So we are just encouraging because we can see, and I'm not saying I'm not an economist, but we read a lot and we come to know that where is the world going, especially now when there's a war between Ukraine and Russia, is going to change the whole world. You see?
So one issue I have personally is a lot of people have personal charities. A project, personal, because I can afford it, I want to give charity, that's fine. But it's not centralized. And of course, there's an issue with centralization. You also want to have that freedom. It's not wajib to work with Africa Federation. But I think sometimes we lose trust of the good people. How can we change that image, at the Africa Federation level? Because sometimes a young person like me is younger. I was a youth, now I'm mid-age. Wants to step into Africa Federation work, and sometimes I'm discouraged by our other people who are like, no, that's an old boys club and all those, negativity. So I think it's genuine advice that we need to change the image. No, Africa Federation is here since our first federation in the world, and we are here to serve. Or your objective is to be serving and facilitating communities. And so some of the funds that may go other places or leak may be better served if it's coming through Africa Federation. Anyway, that's just a thought.
So I remember one thing, years back, my own mother decided a request to say Fatiha for her and to put Mu'minin. So it was Ramadan Kaminata. I hope everybody understands the Urdu. तो रमज़ान का महीना था तो वो मुझे बोला कि ये साल फितरा का पैसा तो मुझे देना, मस्जिद में मत देना। माँ की रिक्वेस्ट ऑर्डर होती है, तो ऐसे हम बोलते हैं कि हमारे रिक्वेस्ट किया था लेकिन एक्चुअली इट इज एन ऑर्डर। सो आई सेड इंशाल्लाह। So I took out my fitra, I gave her, and I also paid the money. So after about 4 or 5 months, this I'm talking about 4 years, 4 or 5 months, she said, the other day you gave me money, now you don't give me, you give it to the mosque. I said, why, what happened? He said, when we were friends sitting, then talks came out, and Muslim boy, oh, Palani, my hair was poor, and उसे दूसरे दोस्त को वो भी मैंने भी दिया तो तीसरी जैसे बोली तो एक आदमी को she got it from 3 people and this met others deprives others to get because the only was the Jamaat is they won all the 3 times. So it's a matter of making people understand that when you are centralizing, then most of the people benefit. When you are giving individually, they may be getting it 2 times, 3 times, and some who really deserve don't get it. So it's a matter of sitting together and taking. It's very important. These are small talks, but they have a very big effect on us. You asked me about membership.
Well, this is more for individuals, right? Now that Africa is expanding in terms of our Africa Federation is in different Jamaats, Mozambique, everywhere. and people are moving around and playing, travel is now normal. Even in Afed we have Kasiru Safar. So can we have something, an idea whereby genuinely if someone is living in 2 or 3 places and they're not in one place only, then they could contribute as a member in multiple Jamaats. I think, or maybe a membership that is a international membership, something like this, because now we have to move with the times. So they're not limited to one membership of one Jamaat, something to consider.
So, thank you. I want, as I said earlier, not necessarily that I have to be there, but we all can make a difference and ease the problems which some of you are facing. So I understand that the reason why dual membership was not allowed
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
was not allowed, most likely that they didn't want one Jamaat to be interfered with another Jamaat. For example, let us say the Islam. The Islam have members from all the region, from Arusha, from Moshi, from Sugina, from Kuala, from Lindi. So they are supposed to be members of the Islam Jamaat. Why? Because if you are a member of Kuntwara, and once there is an election in a small Jamaat in Kuntwara, then people can gather and they can keep or elect a person from not within the Jamaat, from outside, so from the Islam. That is why this was kept. But I understand also now some of the Jamaat are very small. So it is not bad that we can see into it and bring it back so that we can have Jamaat presidents or secretaries whom we can see and monitor that they are doing the right thing. And if they are supported from the Islam, then they will also help looking for finance to run the Jamaat. Because the person who is there probably is backed by members in the Islam. So it will be their responsibility to make sure it functions well. But that was an example. But now it becomes difficult. A person in Rwanda, like yourself, but you're also doing business in Dubai. So probably half the time you are here, half the time you are there. So where do you have? So once you come here, you use the facilities. Those facilities are free. But somewhere you feel that no, I am supposed to pay because I'm using these services. So people will say, okay, pay some donation, but still it doesn't give you that satisfaction that I want to become a member. So the belonging is very important. Once you are paying a member, then you start liking and loving the Jamaat. So it's important that we all should be loving our Jamaat. So whether it is 1 or 2, so we should be consider that as our 2 homes. So we will see into it. It's probably a very technical thing. We will see, and we can see how we can remove this barrier so that people can see that. Because I also had a challenge in the Islam, they don't remember. We staying in the Islam for the last 20-25 years. So he tells me I want to become a member. So he said, but I can't become a member. I said, why? He said, because I was a life member in Stanmore. So now because I'm a life member in Stanmore, I cannot become a member in the Islam. So this doesn't really make sense. Because he is staying in Islam for 20 years, he loves his community and he can't become a member. So we can see into these hurdles whereby we can remove these challenges and see how we can move forward. So basically you said you wanted an international membership.
Even if we can pay in each
At least, for example, when there's elections here.
No, I understand for 2 years, for 2 Jamaat, it's quiet, but you said you'd like one to have an international passport. So I said,
Only Africa.
because we are all one, and we have to be one. This is our motto, that unity is strength. Okay? So if you don't have any ill intention, then come and watch here, you want to bring somebody who is going to bring, he's going to probably bring, it doesn't bring any development. We all want everybody to enjoy and to see the community progressing well.
Sorry, Chairman, I'm not member of here, but on this, can you allow me just to, thank you. Azim, what the brother was saying there about the dual membership, actually the same thing we had in Mwanza. The thing is that if the community has its own constitution, it helps a lot. Like for example in Mwanza, we have our own constitution. I don't know about other Jamaats if they have their own constitution. I mean just aside of Dar es Salaam, I don't know. But we have our own constitution and it is clearly mentioned no dual membership, you see. And we had reason while we were making, I was one of them while we were making the constitution. Due to, as you said, there's no ill intention, but all people are not same. These 5 fingers, we are in the same community. We are all a little bit members, may I say, members. But we have ill intentions. They are in the community. So that was the thing we thought that we should not go for dual membership due to this. One can come and say, oh, Jamaat member, so I want to do this thing, this thing. And then he goes away, he goes to another Jamaat, then, for example, I'm just giving an example. So that's why we had a very long thought, and during our new constitution, making of new constitution, we said clearly, no dual membership. And when you want to live here, to go to Dar es Salaam Jamaat, 100%, if you have cleared out your Lawajam debts, we'll write an official letter, and many have migrated from Mwanza to here. But of course, when he said that, however, he said that there is a Jamaat, you said it has life membership.
Yeah.
So maybe it is there in the constitution, so that's quite ugly thing, I can say. So people has moved for 20 years somewhere, but cannot become because he took life membership there. So he's hanging in the air, you see. So it all depends on the constitution of the Jamaat, how you make it. Asad.
Thank you very much. Actually, you reminded me, Africa Federation doesn't have a mandate to interfere in any Jamaat. It has a mandate to only guide. Okay, so we don't have any members, our members are the Jamaat. Okay, so it is up to the individual Jamaat to look into it again and see that if a member is having 2 Jamaat membership, what would be the benefit or what would be the loss? So it's not an African obligation. Our thing is only to guide. Okay? So rightfully, all the Jamaats have their own constitution. Even Rwanda Jamaat has their own constitution.
Oh,
Okay? So, but something which was not practical 20 years back, it is very much practical today. What we didn't need, for example, before 30 years, if you give somebody water in a bottle, he would think 3 times that is this water pure or not. If I used to drinking boiling water. But today, if you give somebody boiling water, he said, no, I don't want this water, I want a bottled water. So things change, needs change, and circumstances change. So we will advise communities, different Jamaat leaders, that some members have been complaining of these challenges. How can we look into it, and how can we benefit from it? So inshallah, we will advise, and alhamdulillah, if it works well, when we are meeting every 3 months on Zoom, these things can be talked. If you talk 3 times, then the 4th time probably the challenge is gone. But if you meet only once a year, that also at 2 a.m. in the morning and 3 a.m. in the morning, you don't talk any development, you only talk of things which doesn't concern the ordinary member. So it is not fair for the ordinary member. He is the one who elects, and then he doesn't get any benefit.
maybe I can just put a point to this issue again.
Just to share a few thoughts, I think we discussed also in the opinions. Always the concern on the Jamaat level or on the organization level will always be there about the voting rights, about how the person's vote can influence the Jamaat's decision making, whatever. That is absolutely understandable, and every Jamaat in its own way has got concerns. I believe Africa Federation also has got a constitution also which explains that a member can be from one Jamaat. But the point only, as you addressed it before, is that we have got people who are travelers, Safari. So they are keeping on moving around and they want to be part of that other community. The possibility is the constitution may allow a different type of membership, not necessarily as an ordinary member. Ordinary member will have full rights, example. The other guy can at least still be part of the organization. Now, again, as you said, this has to be addressed, whether the constitution will allow the person to sit in the meetings, not sit, not vote maybe, but it just gives a fulfillment or a feeling of being part of the Jamaat. Today, a person is moving around, he can only say, I'm a member of one Jamaat. But as he's moving around, he can be a member of several Jamaats, but his limitations are based on the Jamaat's constitution, whether he can become an ordinary Jamaat on what grounds, or else he has to adopt maybe another category of membership which can give him still a sense of involvement in the Jamaat.
Thank you. You are very right. Probably, if the Indian Jamaat thinks that there is no problem in making a new membership, but you won't give him the rights of voting, it will be upon you that you decide that you want to give him voting. And probably the day when he's voting, he's now in the Jamaat, not in the Jamaat. So it is not. And very unfortunately, everywhere where I've been, they say only 7 to 8% of the people come and vote. So this is very unfortunate. But we want to try and be close to the members, whereby they should understand the need of choosing the right leader, because it is on them to choose the leader. Okay, if there are no questions, okay, so inshallah, we pray.
Knowing that you were the president of Paris of Jamaat for the last 6 years, then vice president, totally 12 years, and knowing that there was some wrong decision which was being made, especially in the properties, and Jamaat incurred a lot of losses on that. Now, if you want to come right now as the African Federation president, what assurance are you giving us that those losses are not going to happen again? That's number one. Number two, when you were a president of Paris of Jamaat, there was a prominent lady who was being dragged to the court, unfortunately. It was a calamity to our community. But unfortunately, you as a president, you kept quiet on that, and you allowed your office bearers, or I can say the committees, to take that forward and drag her up to the court. In the end, the Jamaat came to lose the court case. And then Jamaat had to pay a big theft fine against that. Now, what assurance are you giving us after you becoming a president? Our ladies of the community are going to be safe. Since there was a case like this, it was like very, very, very hurtful.
Thank you very much. I also want to tell you, and whatever is written, whether on WhatsApp or somebody is telling you, you have to verify. And the best thing to verify is to verify with those who are in office. So I'll start with the second thing. That there was a lady in China, the Jamaat took him to court. You all know that once you are fired, then the owner doesn't take you to court, he only fire you. The one who is fired is the one who goes to court, right? તમે તમારા કામવાળાને કામમાંથી રજા આપો તો એ જ હશે કોર્ટમાં. આપણે તો નહીં જાય ને, આપણે તો કામમાંથી કાઢી નાખે, આપણે શું આવે કોર્ટમાં શું કહેશું? પણ એ જ હશે કોર્ટમાં કહેવાય કે મને મારા સર્કિટના કાયદા નથી. So let us put it this way, that the lady in charge was not taken by Jamaat to court, but the lady in charge took the Jamaat to court. Okay? So if it's like this, then what can I do? And it's not like fun. I still intervened, I met the lady and I told him there is no point of going to court, you get us what. So only I take that over, we can see it and so. Okay? That is the most we can do. We can try and patch and see where we can get. And the Jamaat has never lost that case. The case is still going on. And if even if the loss, there is again an appeal that it is not good either the member to take the Jamaat to court or the court to take the member to the court. This is not our teachings of that area. We have to see and try and see how do we resolve the issues. The second thing about the property. You see, you cannot be a president and you can overrule everything. You can come with an idea, then all the office bearers, the managing committee will see and decide that this is right or wrong. Mr. President, can you do everything on your own without asking and explaining them? So these are only people trying to throw mud and trying to, they are forgotten. Is that they are Wadache, is that they are ખોટી વાતો કરીને બધી કે કાંઈ કોઈને કામ નહીં આવે. જેને અલ્લાહને ખપશે he will become the president. Okay? And if I was not lovable or not delivering, then I wouldn't have got 3 terms in a row chosen by the public. That shows that people have confidence in me. But now because we are standing for a higher post, I want to try and tarnish the name. To tarnish the name is in the hands of Allah, not on me.
Thank you for your answer. As you said that you have become a president for consecutive 3 years. Then my question is, what makes you this time not to get the nominees from Dar es Salaam, President Jamaat, and you went directly to the other Jamaat, the Roma and Singida, knowing that there are only 5 to 7 members? Why didn't you have that confidence to say that I've done a lot of work for my community in Dar es Salaam? Why should I not get the votes from Dar es Salaam and get a nomination from there? That's number 2. And number 2, after knowing that Mr. Shiraz was also getting into this position, and then he lost against the opponent, Mr. Mandu, and then you are saying that now there was a unity. You guys always believe in unity. Why you didn't choose to go with Mamdu and support him, knowing that he said here that he's your cousin, he's your brother, he's your best friend? Why didn't you decide that since you have worked in a community, why don't you bring him as a new fresh and try to support him? What was your ideas?
Okay, thank you. These all questions are WhatsApp questions.
I'm sorry, that's what you are saying,
Yeah.
but as far as I'm concerned, these are not WhatsApp questions.
Fine, there's no problem at all. But these are the questions being circulated in WhatsApp. Yours could be genuine. But then I don't tell you that Muhammad is my cousin or my friend, but actually I'm not saying, but he is. Okay? These posts don't go by virtue of friendship or by virtue of relation. These posts go by the ability of a person. Okay? So even if my son, tomorrow I want to make him a president, it doesn't work like that. He has to qualify to become a leader. Then only I can support him. Now the question comes that why I didn't support him. I called him. We were called by our president and asked that you don't, 3 of you, why don't you choose one to lead and the rest to work together? All of 3 of us were called. And he said, no, I want to stand, I will not back down. So Shiraz Bhai said, okay, I'll back down and we'll work together. So that's what we think, we have done it. We did it, that this should be the way forward. So now, the question comes, why did I go to KIGALI or Dodoma Jamaat with few members? To be a candidate, you need nomination from one Jamaat, or maximum 2 Jamaat. You don't need nomination for 30 Jamaats. That's why I have been nominated with 2 Jamaats, and I'm the candidate, and Shiraz also nominated by 2 Jamaats, and so was Muhammad Sachwi nominated by 2 or 3 Jamaats. So why were one candidate worse than 2 Jamaats? There was no reason. I don't want to talk today that why did he do it, but you should be asking yourself, if the qualification is only 2, then you don't go for 30. So why did I choose KIGALI Jamaat? After Shiraz Bhai lost under Islam against Mohammed Bhai, he had domination from other Jamaat. But I started getting phone calls that no, it is your duty to come and lead the Jamaat. The days remaining were 3. There was Friday when there was election and Sunday was the last day. So I started getting a lot of calls and said that you have to take this post. Now it is your responsibility. That's the time when the president called us and he said that I will withdraw. No, that was after sending the nomination. So I said, okay, let me try and put my name. Knowing that this is a very sensitive post. And then I got convinced that you can do it and you can do half of this seat. Now all the Jamaats had sent their nomination. So the Jamaats which are left were 2. But when God wants, you can plan, but the best planner is God. So these 2 Jamaats were left. So I asked them and they said, okay, fine, you don't mind nominating. So it is only the time which was left and thanks that these 2 Jamaats were still open. That is why I went from Dodoma. But as you rightly said, we are going to get votes from K.S.I.J. Those 3 or 4 members accumulate to 1 vote. You need more than 50 votes. So where can I get the 50 votes? Obviously I get where I get 7. And I'll get from here. If you are convinced that what I'm telling you is convincing you that we will try and do, because I don't promise that, I'll come here, you don't worry, I'll build a dream for you. I'll build a school for you. That is not correct. Okay? I will only speak what I can do. No lies, no shawishi, that when you give me, I'll do this. This is not my style. I hope you are satisfied.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So thank you very much. May I pray, inshallah, may Almighty God protect you, increase risk in your earnings, and importantly that He gives you halal risk, and He all the time increases your wisdom, and He helps you to stay away from satanic thoughts. And we pray that if Allah wills, we come and we can work together and can work much more better when we are together.
We wish you all the best, inshallah.
Thank you.
Jazakallah.
So I'll end here and I'll can request to the Fatiha to Allah.